Well guys, we haven't had rain in so long. Look at this. Oh, look at this coming down. Wow. Oh, we need this bad. This is the first rainstorm of this entire year. Let me get away from the door because it's lightning out there. Hold on. This is the first storm this year with rain this strong. We've needed this so desperately. Everything is dead and dry. We have thunder and lightning and it's great. And we're hoping it keeps on going. Drench the land, soak it, bring life to the plants. Look at the water standing on the ground. Isn't that exciting? Filled up all our containers already. Just in minutes, all our water containers are filled up and overflowing. Very, very good. Sorry, this window is a little fogged. It's humid. Can you see that? Look at the water running off the roof of that greenhouse, just pouring off. That's really, really a good sight. Hey guys, well, it's been raining all day. Very good for the land. Very, very good. The grass is starting to come back. The rain didn't stop me from working though. I just didn't have my camera out, so I'm just going to give you a summary overview is all. But out here, at least the grass isn't crunching under my feet. Let me bring you out in the middle. I know you don't like me walking like this all the time. Although it isn't very pretty yet, is it? It's getting there. So, I've only got 4 bales of mulch left. And I have spread chicken compost over the areas that I had just recently mulched. Where weeding, there's a lot of weeds, but the dark spots there in the middle is the chicken waste. All right, so that's gonna start sinking into the ground, especially now that it's raining. Now we have a weird odd thing with some of our beans. They're bleached. Does that show up? It doesn't really show on my display. Very strange. They're actually bleached. Now, this was this morning before I spread the compost, so I don't know what's going on here. And it's just in this spot right here. The leaves are bleached. Now, I would think it would have been my shavings, except for not all the leaves and all the beans are bleached. It's specifically heavy right in this area. It's the oddest thing. No idea why the leaves are bleached. I'm going to have to look that up. We have had the weirdest year for a garden this year, and everybody else has been saying the same thing. It's been so strange. The only thing that loves this is the kale. The kale is amazing. It's growing out of control. It's beautiful, and we're eating it. The potatoes could care less about what's going on with the weather. They're doing good. The corn is very healthy, but that's because it was in a fertilized area, and we are watering it heavily. Our melons and stuff are starting to come out of it and grow flowers. Now I've mulched, I've composted around that as well. You can see the brown spots. And then over here, I finished mulching in the rain. I've gone through a couple changes of clothing today because every time I go in I have to change my clothes. But I've mulched here and finished that. Well, I got a tiny little bit on that edge. But then I put a row of chicken compost in between the plants, and I put it sort of heavily, okay? But that's going to soak into the ground with time. Same on that row. You can see it in the middle. The chicken compost in between the plants. So the tomatoes are starting to come out of it. I don't know if it was the heat. Now I've read that tomatoes are heat-loving plants. But I also read that too much heat is not good for your tomatoes. Where was I seeing a flower? Here. That's a good thing, right there. That's definitely a positive sign. So there's flowers coming on our tomatoes. I also read that this leaf curl doesn't necessarily affect your yield, depending on if it's virus or fungus or weather related. So we'll see. Our cabbage is doing well. starting to take off. I think that's cabbage. I'm not sure what. We've been eating Swiss chard, and I don't know what kind of lettucey thing that is, but we're going to have to start harvesting this. And we got some cabbages here. That's definitely a cabbage. And our mustard, Melanie said the birds are eating our mustard off the top, so I don't know if we're going to have any mustard seed this year or not. Beautiful plant though. It'll be interesting to see how that turns out. So we've still got some weeding to do, and then I'm going to mulch this pathway as well. You can see that the beds are still raised beds from when I put the topsoil on last year. So I'll take you out in the wood shop and show you what I've been doing out there. Again, this is a summary overview because it's been raining. It's raining now, and I just haven't had my camera out. I fixed the bearing on this, the bushing or whatever you want to call it. I got this chainsaw mill set up and situated properly, and I got the bushing down in here and secured it and locked it in place. So now the bar is not going to move or wobble on me anymore at all. Now it's going to stay straight and remain there. So that's definitely good. Now I can run this thing. It's sharpened, it's ready. It's just a rainy day, and I didn't want to... when I do it next, I want to be recording it. So what I was saying the other day, I was out here working on wood, and I look at a piece of wood, and I saw here's an eye, and then there was this naturally curved part where the tree bark was. It was curved off here on the sides and came to a point. I'm not sure why there was that section there. I left some of it in, and it looked like a fish to me. I saw the eye and the fish mouth. And so I cut out the shape. Melanie drew an outline, and I cut out the shape where she wanted it in wood shop, and then she's going to wood burn all the fish scales and the rest of the fish in here. So that's pretty cool. And there's little swirling lines come around under the eye. It's pretty cool. And then you can sort of see fish scales with the sawtooth marks and the different patterns in the wood. So I roughly sanded it, and that gives it a little bit of a texture yet. So it's really cool. Also, I made a frame for my Alex laser engraver. This is the Alex Laser A3. And I took a piece of plywood, and I roughly sanded it because it was used plywood. And then I took some scrap pieces of wood, and I made supports to hold the feet in place. Because it's a precision instrument, what would happen is this thing would slide all over the place on whatever surface I was working on it with, and then I'd have to recalibrate the dead center. So I have a grid sheet there that I printed one time, and then you can press a button and the laser shoots down at a lighter intensity, so as not to burn your paper or your work you're working with. And then you have dead center. But the problem is, if this moves at all, you've lost dead center, and then you can mess up your image. Sometimes that could happen if you bump the table you're working on during an engraving, and then mess up the whole piece of wood or whatever you're engraving. So now I have this on a stable platform. The feet can't move. I can lift it up. Depending on what size and thickness wood I'm using, I have to lift that up at times, higher or lower, to adjust for the thickness of the item that I'm engraving. But there it is. It's pretty nice now. And that's the other project I did the other day. So I'll get this video up live to you guys and show you what I was up to. This is Troy from the Do-It-Yourself World and the Off-Grid Project. Please like, subscribe, and share. And if you're new to my channel, please do subscribe and watch our daily videos as we strive to become fully self-sufficient and fully off the grid on a budget, which, by the way, we've managed, but we're trying to improve what we have available. Talk to you all later.